A Kiss in the Dark. An exclusive Valentine's Day story, written and narrated by Lady Spookaria. Every year rolls around and there is something in the air. I find myself wondering whether or not I should indulge in the passion of the day. Every time I try to stop myself, to abstain, I can't help myself. As I walk through the streets, I see the telltale signs that Valentine's Day is approaching. The endless mess of love hearts. People talking about what they will get their lovers, and those without complaining about not having anyone on the day. I've always managed to find someone. Whenever I walk through the streets, there are options aplenty. One time, a long time ago, I would try to eliminate those who did not deserve to live. Those who had caused pain to others. They tasted bitter, vile, and like ash. One year, by accident, I attacked someone who had a good heart. You know the type. Did charity work, and not solely to look good for others, or to brag about later on, or to justify later bad behavior. A genuine good person. And it was the sweetest thing I'd ever tasted. I wanted to tell myself I would stick to someone who was terrible. I must ask, would you go back to eating cardboard after eating something so incredibly delicious? I've developed little rituals to give meaning to my new life. These rites help me when it comes to selecting the right person to claim. First, they must approach me, and therefore, ultimately, they are the ones who choose their fate. Some are lonely, others seeking companionship, and others crave a refuge from their own tortured thoughts. I never speak to them. Most people crave someone who will simply listen to them, their thoughts and feelings without judgment. I listen to their stories of their lives, their moments of glory, of sadness, of remorse, and everything in between. When I sit, I visualize their lives in motion, and soon, they find themselves at ease. I don't know how I came to be this way. I woke up one night with a note left by a lover who fled. It read, "Paint your lips with the red, claim whoever you desire, turn them into our kind, or send them away in peace." There was a small, ornate, circular jar on the bedside table. I lifted it, ran my fingers along the surface, and smiled to myself. I slowly opened it. It looked like lip balm or something. I smelled it, and it smelled sweet. And this was by far the weirdest experience I'd ever had being ghosted in my life. I put it aside for a while, months or perhaps a year. I lost track of the time and forgot the lover, the note, and the jar. One day I found it again, remembering that night. All I could remember is passion. I opened it and slowly placed it on my lips. It was smooth. When I looked at my reflection in the mirror, I felt different. There was something about it. I was more alluring. And I put it down to a lot of self-care and the excitement of the day. I had a date. When I opened the front door and left, I noticed people were paying closer attention to me. At first, it unsettled me. Did I have something on my face? Was I dressed strangely? Nothing looked different to me. It took me some time to realize my newfound ability. And it only came when I wore the lip balm. I was at a bar and talking to a woman well out of my league. She was stunning. Tall, elegant, her hair flowed and her dress clung to her curves. She was drawn to me, more importantly, to my lips. I didn't realize that this would become a common occurrence for me, and I took her back to my house. I embraced her, taking her into my arms, and it did not take us long to be free of the burden of our clothing. I led her down the hallway. We were kissing and caressing each other. When we finally reached the bedroom, that was when the lip balm began to take effect. She was shivering, her body cold to the touch, and I could hear the words of the note in my mind. Paint your lips with the red. Claim whoever you desire. Turn them into our kind, or send them away in peace. What's wrong with me? She murmured, coughing up blood, and as I watched the crimson flow on the ground, I felt stronger, happier, and I knew deep down she was dying because of me. She stared up at me with confused eyes, her body rotting and twisting, aging without the comfort of death to rid her of pain and suffering. Or send them away in peace. I cupped her face in my hands. Her cheeks were gaunt. I pulled her close and stared into her foggy grey eyes. I kissed her again, took her final breath, and watched as she died. I want to say I was filled with remorse, and in part, I was. I hadn't learned how to control my abilities yet. My biggest concern at the time was disposing of the body. The woman who went missing was younger, not an elderly woman that she had become. I cleaned up and disposed of the body parts around town. I heard reports of her missing, yet she soon turned into yet another statistic. Another missing person. It made me wonder how many of my kind were out there. Every so often, I could not resist a kill when I was feeling lethargic or unwell. I tried to go without taking a life. I would get dizzy, headaches, and feeling like my life had lost all meaning. Therefore, I always need to hunt. I wondered what would happen when the lip balm would finally run out. Would that mean I would die too? Conveniently, every year since I was turned into whatever I am now, I would receive a package in the mail of the lip balm. The note would always have a list of my victims, and sadly, most of the time, I never bothered to learn their names out of fear of becoming soft. Technology changed, and over time, it became easier to find people. Tinder. Oh, how I love that app. The modern hookup culture made things much easier. Men, women, those that embraced both or none at all. I was all too happy to feast and share a final moment of tenderness or passion, or both, if they were so inclined. The taste no longer mattered as much to me. All that concerned me was the desire to feed. When the final Valentine's Day approached, I prepared myself the same way I'd done since the 1950s. Fashion, manners and customs changed, and it was important to keep up. My kind who didn't adapt would often find themselves hungry. They're easy to spot. Outdated clothes and manners. They never look right, and are always starving. I heard of our kind putting those ones out of their misery. The only things I know are bits and pieces, what I've learned and discovered through trial and error. I haven't mastered turning someone yet, and I don't know if I want to. Especially when they have no idea what they're in for. And, in truth, I value the kill more than anything. The kill is what makes me happy. So why is tonight my final kill? One time I used to look for who was most drawn to me. The ones who would gaze at my lips and be unable to resist. I was nothing but a reflection of whatever they needed at the time. What they craved. This time, I want to be challenged. And if whatever deity exists decides that it is my time, then it is my time. Something I accept. I figured there will be those who are immune. There had to be. Every predator in nature has a predator of their own. I saw her. There was always a strange flutter when someone was being drawn into me. The first indicator that it was working, and she paused. Immune. Then looked at me as though she was lured in. How many of my kind did she manage to fool in her quest? How many of my kind did she slay? She was tall compared to me, like most people were, and when she approached me I found myself drawn to her. Something I had not felt for an eternity. Together we danced a typical dance of seduction, and something felt different. It felt genuine. Why was I suddenly being drawn in? I couldn't tell, and all I wanted was her. We went back to my place. The same place I had for a long time and where I'd taken many of my ill-fated lovers. Soon free of our clothes, I was able to caress and taste every part of her. A passion I had not felt in a long time. I never wanted this memory to fade or wither with time. We both reached our moments of bliss, our peaks, several times before we reached for our respective knives. Mine a kitchen knife and hers a long, slender blade. One she had likely used on many of her victims. I felt the cold, chill blade as it entered my side. My own stabbed her in the back. The warmth of our blood mixed together and coated us in red. The aroma, the unforgettable metallic smell filled my nostrils, and I knew it was time. My heartbeat began to falter, as did hers, as we held each other while we died. Or so I thought. I awoke to find the woman who had changed everything for me. The one who changed me into being whatever I am now, standing over me, gazing down at our naked and bloodied bodies. And I knew my journey was not over. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please let me know what you thought of the story and if you'd like to hear a part 2. This was my exclusive Valentine's Day story, and I hope you had a beautiful day with someone you care about. And that includes yourself if you don't have a special someone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially if you'd like to hear more exclusive stories. This video is made with the support of my incredible Patreons, channel members, and super chatters. All support is greatly appreciated. I also have a merch store if you'd like to support me and get some spookling merch. If you'd like to have your story narrated, check out my subreddit page or my email. Both are awesome ways to contact me. Stay safe, my little spooklings. And remember, I'll be watching you.